Now we are going to talk about sexually transmitted diseases, or otherwise known as STDs. The other name for these diseases is venereal diseases, and otherwise also we have a term that is known as RTI, which refers to reproductive tract infection. Now here also we are going to take into account two of the diseases, and before we talk about those two, we are going to see what all are the diseases which are transmitted by sexual contact, and the most dreaded one is the one I have written over here, that is AIDS caused by HIV. Then there is genital herpes, which is a viral disease. Herpes is a virus which is again spread by unprotected sexual contact, and this being viral disease, HIV causes AIDS, that is also a viral disease. Then we have few of the bacterial diseases, in which we have the example of gonorrhea, and this we are going to study how it happens, which is the causative agent, how it can be prevented. Of course, because these are sexually transmitted diseases, the only better way of avoiding these diseases is the practice of protected sexual intercourse. And then we have the example of syphilis, we have the example of chlamydiasis, we have the example of hepatitis B. All these are the diseases which are transmitted by sexual contact. Now we are going to take into consideration these two. These two are bacterial diseases. One of them shows symptoms while the other one does not. Okay. Of course, it has symptoms. From a normal individual who is having a proper reproductive tract would be healthier as compared to the one who is suffering from these two. These are the bacterial diseases that we have to study. So, talking about gonorrhea, the causative agent for this is a bacteria known as Neisseria gonorrhoeae. Okay. This is the bacteria which causes gonorrhea, and the bacteria which is responsible for causing syphilis is Treponema pallidum, T. pallidum or Treponema pallidum, which is responsible for causing syphilis. Gonorrhea is caused by this one, while this causes syphilis. Now these two bacteria, they get transferred from one individual to another individual only if they are coming in contact and some performance of sexual activity is taking place, because it is through the genital areas that the bacteria would be transmitted from one person to another. Unprotected sexual intercourse would be responsible for the transmission of the bacteria. I am repeating it time and again, and you have to keep in mind, because this is the only source of transmission of these diseases. Now once the disease has occurred, okay, the person has been infected. Talking about this disease, what would be the symptoms? Both male and female can be infected by this. Talking about males, when have this disease, there are no particular symptoms for this particular, there are no visible symptoms. Of course, there are symptoms, but no visible symptoms, so that the person can easily make it out that he or she is suffering from gonorrhea. The symptoms that the individual might show are, in case of males, they will have abdominal pain, and there would be some sort of testicular swelling that would be observed in these individuals. There would be unusual discharge from both male and female genital organs, okay, unusual yellowish to greenish discharge from their organs, and this might lead to infertility, okay. infertility can occur. Okay. Now, also those people who are suffering from gonorrhea, they have itching sensation, burning urine release, and the release, whatever release is taking place from the genital areas, it resembles that of a pus. Okay. So, these are the symptoms, visible symptoms, which can be observed, and it can be inferred that the individual is suffering from gonorrhea. Those people who have this disease, they are at high risk of catching AIDS. Okay. Now, the next type is syphilis. Syphilis can be identified by a visible symptom, that is the growth of sores on the body. Now, this when the person comes in contact with the bacteria, that is causative bacteria, which would lead to a disease known as this, within 21 days or 10 days, the person would show the growth of sore, single sore or 2 or 3 sores on the body, okay, which is otherwise known as chancres. These chancres, they would show on the genital area only. The whatever part would come in contact with the bacteria in the first place, that would show these chancres, and these chancres would develop further, and this syphilis can be cured easily. It shows its symptoms. So, as soon as it is identified that the individual is suffering from syphilis, it can be taken care of by a treatment. Of course, antibiotic treatment would be given in both the cases, because it is bacterial disorder. And this syphilis can be seen in both males and females. The sores would be spread out to complete body if the person is coming again and again in contact with the bacteria, and that would be manifested within 6 months, or it can take a longer time, and these diseases are curable. One good point is this, but both the individuals who are having these two disorders, they are quite prone that they can acquire AIDS in their life. Okay. So, what is the best method to avoid these sexually transmitted diseases is that multiple sexual partners should be avoided. That is one thing. And secondly, we have the best method of barrier method of contraception that we have, and otherwise known as protected sex. So, we should practice that, so that these diseases do not infest the individuals, because they cannot be transmitted by any other method except for sexual transmission. So, this is all you have to keep in mind, and these are the 2 bacterial diseases that we had to